we're going to find some middle ground in there. On days that they're, like say I'm here and say this crack and the stage is my mid-mark. In the beginning of the day, they may take off and they're a little short of it. And then what you're saying is as the day goes on and they progressively get more adrenalized, they start stepping what would be over that. The problem is that when you vary the beginning of the run that much, it changes the posture, it changes the acceleration, it changes everything. Now, if by the end of the day, you've got them stretched out so much that they're way at the back in order to hit that, and they look where that fourth step is, that is the speed mark you use. What you do is you still use that speed mark, but now force them to start the day like that, where they actually start out having to push a little harder in order to hit that speed mark. But the main thing is that if they hit it the same every time, it should lock that pattern in. Now the thing is it has to be natural. You know, if you've got a speed mark and you see a guy who's chopping down to hit the speed mark, then you probably need to open them up a little bit. But for me, when I use speed marks, you know, over the course from the beginning of the outdoor season where I was coming off of a heavy training load and getting ready for meets that were not really important versus middle of June, Olympic trials, go time to get to Europe to try to make a living, you know, my speed mark might change 3 inches, maybe 4 inches. It was very, very little because it was just that extra little push you had at the beginning of the run. So I didn't see a huge amount of variation. And once again, this is something you try. I've seen high school kids go both ways. Now the other thing is, with these, we're talking about advanced level vaulters. If you've got kids jumping 12 steps or less, I probably wouldn't use any of it. Maybe the mid-mark, if a kid's inconsistent, but the inconsistency gets fixed by using a speed mark. And so what I'll do is I find that for the kids running 10, 12 steps, there's just not that many steps on the runway, and they can usually adjust. Also, kids running 10 or 12 steps are usually, they have other inconsistencies in their jump that are bigger problems than setting their run up. So as an advanced model or an advanced type high school vaulter, I would say definitely looking at somebody running 14 or possibly even 16 steps to get them to use these marks and learn how to do them. The other thing that I'll say is in terms of how you use them or how you apply them is if you go to any given college track meet and certainly any professional track meet, like this weekend is the Pole Vault Stars meet in Donetsk in the Ukraine. And Mark Hollis just took off and flew this morning, or yesterday morning, over to jump. And I think Mary Saxo is the other American that are going. When they get to that meet, the day before the meet, all the vaulters will go out. The French guys, the German guys, the Spanish guys, the Italian guys, the Russian guys, the Ukrainian guys. And guess what? Only a few of them will put marks out at the takeoff. All of them will put marks out at the mid-mark. That is just the standard. Everybody worldwide would agree that that's a more accurate reflection of how good your step is versus that takeoff mark. And you'll still see athletes go up and kind of check the takeoff, but what they're looking for is, once my run is established and consistent, am I putting those last steps down and really setting up a takeoff, because so many of the elite vaulters work on that actual setup to take off the ground. Question?
Did you actually take, and I know I treat my kids with an 80% run. I don't